Buonasera, buonasera a tutti, benvenuti a Milano. Good evening to everyone. Welcome here in Milan at the Ducati World Premiere 2017. It's with pride that we start this event in which we launch all new model for this year. And I want to start thanking all the people that are here. So I want to thank all the journalists that are present in order to make the possibility for us to show the result of the work done in Borgo Panigale. I want to thank all the partners. We have 120 dealers here from Asia Pacific and from Brazil. We have customers here present in this theater. And we have thousands and thousands of people, more than 100,000 people were with us last year during the live streaming of this event. So I want to thank all the people that are connecting and to say thank you for joining us, and I hope we will spend together a pleasant hour. We have English as official language of the streaming, but there is a translation in Italian, we have translation in German, we have translation in Chinese and Japanese. So we have many friends around the world that are able to get the content of this show directly live, and that's make us very, very proud. So, without further hesitation, let's start into the discussion. This year has been very important for us. It's been a very important year for Ducati because it was our 90th birthday. 90th birthday is an important event, but the company has never been so solid like we are today. We are growing, as we'll see in a while, and we wanted to celebrate this important birthday, kind of rebuilding and making a completely new refurbishing of our new museum. So the museum is not anymore just a racing bike museum, as it was before, but every fan that will join us in Borgo Panigale in the museum can see all the production bikes that made the history of Ducati and all the most important moments that make this brand so special. With all of this, we can see what are the commercial performance of the brand so far. Last year was our best year overall. We sold something like 55,000 motorcycles. The data we see on my back are the result year to date. So as of today, of this year compared to all the year before. And as we see, even if this year was a more important and difficult because we had bikes like the Multistrada Enduro or the XDR that are important and expensive bikes, so more difficult to reach volume, we were able so far to exceed the volume that we sold up to today last year. So a good year on commercial result, but a good year also in terms of price we got on product. The XDR, that was a kind of a bet for us because we enter into a segment which is the cruiser segment, which is not specific for our brand, was very successful, not only in terms of sales, but also in terms of design awards. And actually the Red Dot Awards stay here, testimonying the kind of approval that the bike have received from the expert. It was a year in which we entered also into a completely different world, the world of globe-trotting, the world of off-road, with the Multistrada Enduro, which opened a completely different type of customer. And we decided that there was no better way to kind of make a statement on this 90th year about making a globe-trotting experience. So we have one Multistrada Enduro which is making a worldwide tour with 7 different riders, and everything is on Facebook and on the social media in order to testimony exactly the dynamic and all the image and all the emotion of this globe-trotting. And so we have the Multistrada globe-trotting experience. But this 2016 was very important also by another aspect. And because we are organizing the Ducati World Premiere this evening, a group of friends decided to organize a very special Sunday. And actually it was last Sunday, in which this group of friends decided to give us and to give all of you, to all the Ducati club, that I take the occasion to say hello and to thank for all the support, an incredible result. Actually, Ducati last Sunday was the most successful manufacturer in racing, winning at the same time MotoGP and World Superbike. And so it's with great pride that I want to join me on the stage, the heroes of this Sunday, Chas Davis and Andrea Dovizioso. So, we couldn't begin talking about the new year without having these guys with us. And they've been very nice, because organizing this event exactly the Sunday before the event and the streaming was actually perfect. So, let's start with Chas. 11 races on number one on the podium, which is you are the most successful rider this year in World Superbike. Actually, we didn't get the big prize, which is winning the championship. This is the reason why we are racing. But have to be, what is your sensation? What do you feel when you're riding your bike that actually make us really very, very in a hurry, very, very worried when you see you, because actually you enter the corner, sliding the bike, and it seems that, every corner is the last corner. But actually, you have been able to stay in a row and to win 6 races. What do you feel?
At this point, I feel amazing. We've won, as you said, the last 6 races. We've won 11 races this season, more than anybody. And I've got to say, the Panigale this year has been a pleasure to ride, and just all the time dancing on the limit. That's how I explain it, and that's how I feel. With this bike, I feel that I really have complete control in my hands, and that allows me to bring home 25 points in these last 6 races. So it's been a fantastic season. As you said, we missed the big prize, but I'm very proud of what we achieved, especially the last part of the season, and I can only look forward to the future.
Okay, tell our friends home that actually sliding the bike into the corner like that is a kind of take care, so just do it when you're on the close racetrack. So, Dovi, you have it? Yes. So now it's your turn. For me, Sunday morning was kind of very special because we are together next year. Yeah. That's very important. You decided really important. To believe in the project again, and that's make a big difference for us. And we worked together a lot with the good and bad moment. Actually, we started in 2013 when situation was quite difficult, and actually I took charge of the big company exactly in that year. So for me, it was also a moment difficult, and we had many kind of task to solve, let's put it this way. But at the very end, we together ended up again in the top first position of the podium. So I've listened to one interview of you saying that you were crying at the last lap, and actually the sensation of riding a MotoGP while crying should be quite crazy, So what can you tell to our fan?
Yeah, the last lap in Malaysia, it was unbelievable. To be able to ride smooth and crying is something really special. And the emotion at that time, it was amazing, unbelievable. I was so happy because to get that result, we worked so hard for 4 years. And when you arrive there and you are close to almost win a race in MotoGP in Malaysia, in one of my favorite tracks, it was really good. And you know very well how much we work during the last 4 years. We came from not a really good situation, but now we come back in a really strong situation. I won the last race, Chad won the last, I don't know, a lot
Actually,
of six races, and now we are really in a good situation. I'm really happy and proud to be part of this project. And I'm so happy to continue for the next 2 years. I really want it, and I get it, so happy.
So, thank you, Dovi. And another one for Chas. And let's talk about next year. Actually, Qatar was very relevant for me, also because last year we were struggling, and there is a very long straight, and that shows the development that you have done riding the bike and the team have done in terms of performance. So what's your kind of expectation for next year? Also considering that you will have a world champion teaming with you, Marco Melandri, and so the team will be, if possible, even stronger, but the competition will be strong. We see there are new competitor coming with new bikes, so it will be very interesting.
Yeah, well, based on the last results, I'm really looking forward to next year. As you said about Qatar, I think that proves how much we've improved in the last 12 months between myself and the team. The bike now, we're every bit a match, if not even better than our competitors in a straight line. So I'm really, really happy about that, because it's finally, I feel like we're on, we have the reference basically in the Superbike. The Panigale, I think everybody's looking at us and wondering what we're doing that's leading towards these victories. So that gives me a lot of confidence. 2017, I think I couldn't be going into the winter more confident, but I know that in racing, nothing ever stops. You have to keep working, keep improving, and I really feel like we can take more steps this winter to get the last tenths from the Panigale to challenge again for the championship next year. And alongside me, I'll have Marco Melandri, and I've been teammates with Marco before, 2013, and we had a good positive working relationship. So I think what Marco can bring to the team and to Ducati will be very important, because he's got a lot of experience, he's very fast, and I think this will be really positive for developing the bike and taking the last steps to fight for the World Championship. But I stand here very, very excited.
Okay, so thank you, Chas, and a big, big hug to Chas. That, it's kind of showing us and pushing the whole development group to do even more and even better. And the next one for Dovi, it's the same for next year. Again, we are one race to go, and so we still have Valencia, but already everyone is focused on 2017 with a lot of work. We've just started the engine on the dyno for next year, and we are assembling the new bikes. So Gigi Dall'Igna, keeps pushing and dealing for improvement. And so many new things on the technical side, but also on the team side, there will be changes. Jorge Lorenzo will join the team next year, and it will be kind of heavy presence because of being a three-time world champion. What's your sensation? What kind of you feel?
Well, I'm so happy we couldn't finish the championship in a better way. We start really good in the first race, but after with unlucky race, we was 11 in the championship. Now we are 5th. So I'm really happy about the work we did during the season. And for next year, for sure, after the last race, after the last 3 races, we can start for sure in a better way than this year. And with the arrival of Jorge, really a big champion, is a good things for Ducati. And I hope we can really found together the last things we need to fight for the championship, because we are here for that. We know it's very, very difficult in MotoGP, but we want to fight for the championship, and we would like to start next year to fight for that.
Okay, so actually someone told me, and I hope that he did a good calculation, that you are the world champion of the championship of the last 3 races, because you had the ride 4 races, so they correct me. So in the last 4 races, Dovi was the rider that made the most of the the most of the points. So that's
not bad.
Not bad, not too bad. So thank you so much, Dovi, and keep pushing, and thank you so much. Grazie. So hashtag Forza Ducati. So without further hesitation, let's move into the core of this evening, the presentation of the products. And as most of you already are very accustomed, we have the Ducati brand, which is red, and from 2015, we have also a yellow side of our heart. And the yellow side of our heart is a Scrambler. Scrambler that when we count how many motorcycles we have sold in 2 years, it's kind of impressive, because almost 30,000 motorcycles in 2 years in a product that was not existing before, and is based on a set of value, which is very different from the Ducati standard value, make us very much understanding that we have a very clear value in hand, and that we need to make that value to grow. And with this in mind, we consider how was the product portfolio on the Scrambler family, and we started thinking how to enlarge the product portfolio of the Scrambler family. And for this year, we want to present two enlargements of this product portfolio. The first one on the classic side. We wanted to consider a product that could make possible for the Scrambler to have a different interpretation of the typical classic value, maybe in a bit more sporty form. Let's see it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ducati Scrambler Cafe Racer. What actually is Cafe Racer? Most of us are familiar with the concept, but for the ones that are not familiar, just a few words to explain. Cafe Racer was a typical movement of the early 60s, in which people were taking just conventional motorcycle and changing some component in a kind of artisanal style to adapt them to a more fast and speedy use. And so, typical clip-on underbar, sporty tire, more sporty suspension. And that's exactly what we did in our Scrambler. We took the base model and we changed the component, we changed the whole mood which is around, we changed the apparel to get a more sporty feeling. This bike is a real Cafe Racer. So it was not only a change in paintings. So you start from the chassis of the bike, which have been changed to adapt a 17-inch front wheel. 17-inch front wheel is coupled with sport tire that are different from the standard Scrambler, that are kind of on-off-road, that are the clip-on underbar, and all the feeling and all the fittage of a typical Cafe Racer. Of course, being sold from 2017, all the bikes that we'll see, and also the Scrambler, are compliant with the Euro 4 homologation. There are a number of details that I require you to look both in the web or for the journalists that will come in the stand from tomorrow, like the fin of the cylinder that are brushed, and so you find the black cylinder with the brushed fin. Or, for example, the radial brake master cylinder, which is a touch in order to show how much was the level of attention to detail in order to make a proper and real Cafe Racer. And the second expansion of the model range goes in a different direction, goes in a direction that is more on the side of off-road. We had a product that we called Urban Enduro, but was a kind, or is a kind of, more kind of enduro-looking and not a real professional off-road capability. So, with this in mind, we thought that it could have been interesting with this product to get a more serious desert bike, and let's see in a while. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled. Desert Sled again, is a kind of a movement that comes from the past and started in the US as many movements and was based on the idea of taking bikes built for different purpose and changing in terms of suspension, wheel, knob tire, in order to be capable of having fun on the desert. And again, this was exactly what we did with the desert sled, starting from the Scrambler. The exercise here was a bit more complex because this one is a brand new motorcycle. Actually, if you want to make a capable motorcycle to cope with the load that are typical of the off-road, you need to change many, many components. And when we see the component that we have changed, we have a new swinging arm, we have a dedicated seat, but especially this motorcycle is a real off-road capable motorcycle. So it's a long travel suspension, both front and rear, that are fully adjustable, have spoked wheel, and have a new, completely designed, stop a while, stop. Okay, you show here. So the tires of the motorcycle have been designed specifically for this motorcycle. We reinforced the complete frame. So the motorcycle is capable of doing exactly everything you've seen in the video. I take the occasion to remind to all the people that are connected from home that we have a group of engineers that are ready to answer to all your questions. So just post your question on Facebook and all the other social media channels, and you will get an answer during the event. So the Scrambler now, it's a big family because we have the icon, we have the version. We added this year 2 new colors. On the white for the classic bike, and we added the gray on the icon. Plus, we have the 2 new motorcycles that we have seen. The Cafe Racer, which is 1 color only, the black and gold we have seen, and the 2 colors for the desert sled, white and the red. So it's very clear, and it's more clear than before, that the Scrambler is not a motorcycle, but it's a brand. It's a brand that is based on a different set of value, as we will see further in the presentation, from the brand Ducati. And when we talk about Ducati, immediately we consider red. And red is the heart of our brand, and red is the color of the passion. So, with this in mind, we start entering the product that are new for 2017 on the Ducati brand. Actually, I remind one product which is completely new for 2017, but is not a world premiere, because actually we introduced in the show, in Intermot, in the Germany show. And this product is what we will see in the video now. The Ducati SuperSport is an idea that we had in mind when considering which type of sports bike we had in the model range up to now. When we consider 959 or the 1299 Panigale, that are typical bikes that are very good for a track day, or they are also very good when you want to make a Sunday blast, which is fast riding on a normal road during weekends. But we wanted to develop a product that it was good also for everyday commuting, as normal riding in the city, or good for a weekend, more relaxed riding, that is not only the very fast riding typical of a superbike. And so we decided to build a SuperSport, which is a motorcycle that can be used every day, but have the same gene, is the same sportive DNA of a typical Ducati. I want to remind that this is made possible by the riding position, so ergonomics is very peculiar. The rider sits in a far more relaxed position than in a conventional superbike. The seat 8, it's in a position that can be reached and made possible also for people that are not very tall. And so the bike is accessible and comfortable. The bike is available on a standard version and on an S version. As we'll see on my back, the red one is standard and the white one is S, where the main difference is the suspension. that are all-ins front and rear, and the electronic gear shift, because on the S is standard, the DQS, cioè Ducati Quick Shift, that make possible to change without using the clutch, both downshifting and upshifting. So it's a very peculiar characteristic of this motorcycle that so far in the Ducati range was present only on the 1299 Panigale. Before starting, actually, the world premiere, I want to remind also another product that will not be shown here, but will be new for 2017. It's a product that we will be developed together with the brand Diesel, and will be a special version of the Diavel. So we are working together, as we did for the Monster some years ago, in develop a very special finished Diavel version that will be shown here in Milan in January 2017, in order to then be offered for sale in 2017. So, having said that, we are actually ready to enter into the presentation of the new Ducati of this evening. We will present 4 new Ducatis. So, that gives the size of the effort that, as a company, we are putting into product development. The first one, if it was kind of considered as an image, is kind of a Swiss Army knife, because it's a tool with which you can make really many, many different things. It's a motorcycle that it's very, very versatile, because we have tried to package all together many different characteristics. So when one rider or one customer have to decide why bike only, this may be the perfect choice. Let's see it. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Ducati Multistrada 950. Ducati Multistrada 950 is based on a concept of versatility and accessibility, as we'll see in the next 5 minutes, but combined what we call premium touring capabilities. The base of the concept is, of course, the Multistrada we already developed, coupled with a fantastic power plant that we had in our model range, which is the Testa Stretta 11-degree engine, 937 cubic inch. This engine is very good for a very versatile and accessible dual sport machine, because it has a very interesting level of horsepower, more than 110, with a very flat torque curve. More than 80% of the torque is available between 3,500 RPM and 9,500 RPM. So it's very smooth and can be ridden with pleasure at any RPM. As we'll see, we have added on this combination of power plant and chassis a number of features that makes the bike very much available to very different use, on and off-road. We have equipped the bike with the 19-inch front wheel, adjustable front and rear shock, and the 19-inch front wheel has the intent, as with other options that have been chosen, to give a more broader possibility to go also off-road. Have been made the same with the seat, that when you look in detail, have the same shape as of the Multistrada Enduro. So give the possibility to the rider to move back and forth when riding, staying still on the motorcycle, when riding off-road. The rear side of the grab handle have been shaped in order to make the possibility to fit not only the plastic bag of the typical Multistrada, but also the aluminum panniers that we have developed for the Multistrada Enduro. And also a number of other components are very clear orientation in order to make the bike more capable to go on and off-road. Like, for example, the double-sided swinging arm that make possible to fit in an easy way spoked wheel. When seen from the rider perspective, the bike looks different, for example, for the switches that have been completely redesigned and are specifically started from this model. And there are also components taken from the Enduro, like the stem of the mirror, that are aluminum in order to be stronger. Of course, this motorcycle has the 4 riding mode, as a typical Multistrada. And as for the 4 riding mode, there are available 4 packages of accessory that can customize the bike and get more special, more sporty, more touring, more enduro, or more urban. When we see on my back, there are a number of characteristics that make the motorcycle really different from the current Multistrada and more wide in terms of approach and in terms of possibility even to ride off-road. In order to show that, we even configured what we called an Enduro Pro configuration, in which putting together all the accessories that already are available on our catalog, you immediately get, starting from this bike, a very competent off-road motorcycle. Spoked wheel, knobbed tire, titanium silencer, radiator protection, get from the bike immediately an image which is very strong in terms of looking, and also very competent when you take the motorcycle off-road. And in terms of load, everything has been kind of calculated and tested in order to reach that, like the rear side's double swinging arm and the frame and so on and so forth. This motorcycle, of course, is the perfect platform also to enjoy that in a kind of very relaxed long trip in couple, and to enjoy many different and very nice places, as typically we have also here in Italy and Europe. So let's see the motorcycle in action. When I've seen this video for the very first time, I kind of recognize why I'm so much in love with motorcycle. Because actually there are very few, if anything, products that can make you this kind of experience. You are in the world, in a world of beauty. You have a 360-degree experience because you feel 5 senses. So you feel the hot and the cold, you smell the smell of the place, and actually you are completely into the world. And so, and actually this video, in my opinion, shows really how much you can, in a relaxed way, enjoy what you have around and enjoy motorcycling. So that was just my thought. But let's move to the next product, which is kind of mythological for us, because it's not only a product, it's a brand on itself inside Ducati. And there was a kind of an advertisement, kind of 15 years ago or so, that was saying, how many bikes can you tell apart without reading the brand of the motorcycle on the fuel tank? Some one of you may remember that, and that is because the shape of the motorcycle have been unchanged for so many years, and it's so distinguished. This motorcycle speak about essentiality and together with sporty attitude. This motorcycle is the Ducati Monster, and we will want to show you the last edition of this Monster. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new Ducati Monster 1200S, and it's a new edition because we changed so many components from the standard one that actually it's difficult to consider if it is a facelift as it was intended or is it a completely new bike. Actually, we started from the idea that we wanted to get back from the very original concept of Monster, part of the sporty feeling, part of this small and compact dimension feeling that somehow was not so strong in the current model. To kind of make a sign in this coming back to its root, we even put as a fixing point of the tank, as you see on the image on my shoulder, a kind of a hook of a ski boot, which was typical of the original Monster of the 90s. With this in mind, we can say that the new bike have been updated in design. Every component you see is new. Fuel tank, seat, headlight, everything is new. It's new proportion because everything is smaller, as we'll see. It's an evolved engine, which is improved over the current one, and it's a full developed electronic. So it's a full package that makes just more Monster and just better because it's been updated on every component. Just a few details on the compact dimension. We wanted to make the bike quicker in turning, and so there is a shorter wheelbase, something like 26 millimeters shorter, in order to be a quicker handling. But we wanted to make it to look smaller when looking at that. And so when you look from the top, for example, the rear seat and the tank are visibly smaller than the current Monster. The heart of the motorcycle is the 1211 degrees in this best form, 150 horsepower, and almost 13 kilograms of torque. And even more important on this number is that the torque is available above 10 kilograms from 3,000 to 10,000 RPM. So again, a very flat torque curve in order to enjoy the typical two-cylinder behavior. The 150 horsepower means 15 horsepower more than the current Monster Standard and 5 horsepower more than the current Monster S. A very important feature, it's also the quick shift that for the first time will be landing on the Monster area. So the Monster 1200 will be equipped with the quick shift up and down without using the clutch, which will be available both on Standard and S, even if on Standard will be not a standard equipment. The headlight, as we have seen, is new, completely redesigned, and also the color display. It's a completely updated panel. So it's an updated panel, which is very nice and very modern, but also report a higher number of information. For example, the gear indicator was not present and now it is, and also the fuel level indicator is present on the new panel. So not only the graphics is more modern, but also it provides a higher and more complete set of information. Single-sided swinging arm is very typical of a Ducati and have been completely redesigned in order to shorten the wheelbase. And the Ducati safety pack is in its best form here because the bike is equipped with the cornering ABS. Most of you that tested the difference between a standard ABS and cornering ABS can tell how big is the difference in terms of safety. As we will see in a while, safety is a very important feature of the brand value now. And so we wanted to offer to our best customer, the customer that really like one of the icons of our brand, which is the Monster, the highest level of possible safety. So the bike is equipped with the IMU, the inertia measurement units, that can measure on the bike the leaning angle. It's an expensive sensor, but make possible for the ABS to change the setting while the bike is leaned or when the bike is fully vertical. And so if also there is, or even there is a panic stop with the bike fully leaned and you have a very hard pull of the brake, with the cornering ABS, you feel safe. And of course, the physics will not change. So the bike will run a bit wide on the corner, but will not crash. And that's very, very important. Very important also because it's an important improvement over the current model. This Monster features separated foot pegs for passenger and for the rider, and it features the high-mounted number plate for a more sporty-oriented looking. When we sum all together, we see how much the bike has changed from the current version, and how much will be interesting actually to test and to feel the improvement we have made on the motorcycle. But the bike we see here is not the Monster Standard, that are all the features that we have described so far, but it's a Monster S. The Monster S is a typical S Ducati, different mainly in higher quality component, mainly suspension. So all-ins front, all-ins rear shock are present in this motorcycle, but as often is the case, also the braking system has a strong update. In this case, the front braking system is based on the 330 millimeter disc with the M50 Brembo caliper that makes it the strongest braking system available on two wheels. So again, Ducati is distinguishing by offering its customer the best possible braking system. Also, the wheels are different on the S because are Y shapes and there's a different graphics. And the headlamp is equipped with a daytime running light. So with a system that will make, even during the day, a very clear picture that make the bike recognized from the front in a very distinguished way. And here, there is a recap of all the features on the S model. As a color palette, the S will be available on red and gray, and the standard will be available on red. So, having said that, this is a technical description of the bike, and it's the time to see the bike, how it's shown in action. So, better, faster, Monster. We've seen two Scrambler, two Ducatis, and we are ready to enter into the last part of the presentation to show the last two Ducati. But I was there, they showed me a message here. I hope I didn't get wrong, but they told me that we are together, and they say hello to the people that are together. We are together with 402 people. So we are 402,000 people connected on Facebook that are together with us sharing this incredible event. So I really want to say thank you for all the people that organized this incredible event, which is growing at an incredible pace because it was less than 50,000 the first year. Last year was 100,000, and this year so far there are 400,000, which is huge and incredible. So I'm really very proud. And I really hope that the show will be a good show for all of you. So we wanted to take the occasion not only to talk about product, but to talk about the brand and the company. Because the product is very important. The products are shaping the brand like nothing else. But also it's important to consider how was Ducati 10 years ago and how is Ducati today. I will take you very quickly in a kind of a tour in the time in order to have a very clear vision. Ducati was and still is style, was and still is sophistication. The way we try to solve the technical equation, we try also and always to make in a different and ingenious way. And Ducati is, of course, performance. We've just made a big hug to the rider that were here. What more than what we've done last Sunday can say and say that Ducati is about performance. Ducati used to be performance, Ducati is performance, Ducati will be performance in the future. But Ducati is more. It's a kind of a world in which we have the motorcycle in the middle and we have a huge community around. We have the events, the races, the clubs, and I want again to take the occasion to say and to give a big applause to all the clubs that are around, because for sure a lot of the 400,000 people are part of our clubs, and it's part of the reason that we are so strongly committed to this brand. We have the apparel, we have the accessory, but this we had also 5 years ago. There is something which is kind of new, and this new breath, there is a new wind into the company. Some kind of new is the Scrambler that was not present before 2015. So it's a brand new experience, a brand new product that, as we have seen, is not a product, but is a group of products. And is everything, it's about a different set of value. It's not just style, sophistication, performance, it's just different. It's youthful, it's free spirit, it's positive, it's self-expression. It's about a more accessible way to enter motorcycling. It's about freedom. It's not just a lot technical oriented. There are two wheels, a fuel tank in many different interpretations. But also we added the black world of X Diavel, where the value is even different. So it's a value of load, speed, excitement. Kind of enjoy the motorcycle, even not being fast, which is kind of completely on the other side about the typical Ducati brand value. So we added that. So Ducati is not only what we have seen, the red, it's the yellow, it's the black, and it's even the wild side of Ducati. Because we have seen, we have the Multistrada Enduro, which started, we have seen the Multistrada 950 can be built together in Enduro Pro configuration. So Ducati is more and more also off the normal road. But this is still product. We want to tell you something more about the value that are into the brand, very solid now, which are not very often talked about. There is a lot of intention and a lot of engineering time and a lot of time we spend about maintainability of the bike, how to get longer service interval, how to get a less expensive service interval. We made a lot already, because when we look back 15 years ago, service interval was something kind of 10,000 kilometers, and now we are on the best model like the Multistrada at 30,000 kilometers for the valve check, which was quite an improvement. And there are technicians that are still working on that. So we care about distance, mileage, reliability, which are value that not very often were put together with the Ducati brand. But we care a lot also about safety. We have been investing a lot in terms of improving the safety, the active and passive safety of a motorcycle. A lot of what you see on my back, which is the kind of the technological roadmap of development, have to do with safety. A lot of what you know, but I'm sure that not all of you know that we packaged all together most of that on a product, which is the Multistrada DR, which is probably the motorcycle that on the road has the most comprehensive package in terms of safety, because it put together the DR, which is a system that is talking and dialoguing directly with the motorcycle. So you wear the jacket and the motorcycle is equipped with sensor on the motorcycle that detect when there is a kind of a crash and open the jacket before, and that 20 milliseconds can save your life. And it's not that very much understood from most of the people, and still is very difficult to sell this product. But we keep doing, and we keep investing on that, because actually we think that safety, and active safety more than everything, is a kind of our way for developing the company and the motorcycling for the future. The bike is, of course, equipped with ABS in cornering stage, so the best one. Is equipped with wheelie control and traction control, but is equipped also with cornering light that are very effective and help every time there is a corner, which is more than 90 degrees, to have a better view on the side of the corner. So, maintenance cost and safety are very important for us, but are also important services. Like the Ducati Approved that we launched just some month ago in Europe, which is a pre-owned certified program, on which you can get Ducati brand more accessible. Often people consider our bike to be too expensive, and so we are also offering a more entry bike, but even the pre-owned program is very important, because you can buy a pre-owned Ducati, maybe 2 or 3 years old, with a lower price, but now with Ducati Approved, with the same level of certification and the same level of trust that you have on a new bike. Because every bike, to get the stamp of Ducati Approved, will have to go through a more than 30 points of checklist by a certified technician, and only the bike that will get approved will get the stamp. And when you get the stamp, you will know for sure that the bike is a good bike, and the bike will have the 2-year warranty. And so you can buy into a used Ducati with the same level of trust you buy into a new Ducati. And so this is brand new for us, and will be rolled out in the whole world in the next year. And we speak about where we are taking the company, which is not only product, it's not only sport product, but is much more. So when we make the value map of the company, now makes a much broader and complex system, but will offer, of course, a much wider platform for the company to grow and to offer more exciting product and more exciting future. In a nutshell, more than red, evolution never stops. So, second to last product, which is super important for us, because it's an entry door to the red world. An entry door to the red world is a product which have to be accessible, have to be sporty, and have to be something on which to have fun. Have to be something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Monster 797, which is a product which is important because, again, it's what we call an entry door. We want to have, again, like we had in the past, a product that makes possible for younger people to enter in our world, and not only through the Scrambler brand, but entering through the sport side of the brand, which is a typical red Ducati. This is an unmistakable monster in terms of size and proportion, and it's based on the air-cooled 800cc engine. In the format with 75 horsepower, is more than enough for everyone that wants actually to join the motorcycle community with a sporty product which is not too aggressive and will not be too intimidating. The seat 8, it's at the right level, actually, for all size of person in order to touch ground in a comfortable way, and also the weight of the motorcycle is in term that make possible to access the motorcycle without being really an expert. So for everyone that wants to begin with motorcycle with a product which is not second in terms of appearance and is not second in terms of sportiness, the Ducati Monster 797 is for sure is a very interesting proposal. It's a sporty braking system as a typical Ducati, so double disc in the front, 320, and takes a lot of the component from the bigger brother that we just shown, like the front headlight or the fuel tank are exactly the same component. When we have just to say with a couple of words what the Monster 797 is about undemanding fun and easy and performing. These are the key words for this product. The bike will be available in red, white, and in dark stealth. It's available also in a plus version, as we used to have with our Monster 696, that feature a kind of the tail cover and a small cupolino in the front in order to be a more sportier version, we call it plus. And as a recap, we have all the characteristics of the product. What we miss just to see the bike on the street. So let's have fun was the final chart of the presentation of the Monster, and could be the first chart of the presentation of the last motorcycle that we introduced this evening. I think most of you know that we have a very special motorcycle to introduce and to explain. And in the room there are all people that are passionate about motorcycle. And when you explain and you introduce a product like this, guys, it's just fun. So I'm really having fun in introducing what in Ducati we call the quintessence. The quintessence may be a bit, sounds too much, but I was talking with one colleague of you journalists this morning, and he was saying to me that the claim of this motorcycle could be make possible the impossible. And actually what we will see in a while is something that many people thought was actually not possible. We'll see a motorcycle that in terms of horsepower, in homologated form, has no rival. In terms of weight, is kind of moving again the benchmark, and in terms of weight to ratio, it's kind of insane in a while. In terms of electronics, it's moving the boundary in terms of what so far was only possible for our friend Dovi and Chas. And so when the lucky customer will be brave enough to test it, they will feel exactly the same feeling and sensation. So Let's have fun. That's a rolling chassis of something that I'm not sure that everyone thought it was possible. It's a rolling chassis of the motorcycle in which every component is taking into a new territory. We are talking about all the parts that are structural component of the motorcycle, which is the frame, the swinging arm, the wheel, the rear subframe, is a full composite structure, vulgarly called the carbon frame. It's a bike on which the engine is just the most powerful production twin-cylinder ever, and it will remain for a very long time. It's a motorcycle based on taking the biggest board that we had available and trimming it to the most extreme racing trim. So 2 rings piston, fully machined from the billet, butterfly, from the throttle body, and all these kind of insane things that race engineers normally do on the engines. That deliver the number of 215 horsepower for this engine, which, by the way, will be reached in fully Euro 4 compliant form. So this bike will be a fully street legal motorcycle. As we have seen, all the structural parts are carbon fiber, and let's see them one by one in a while. The frame weighs 2.6 kilo. So that's the frame of the motorcycle, actually. There is no other component into this 2.6 kilo component that normally other manufacturers make a fairing. On this motorcycle, the frame is made, and it's 1.7 kilos lighter than the corresponding aluminum structure. The rear swinging arm, it's 4.1 kilos, which is almost 1 kilo lighter than the aluminum swinging arm, or the carbon wheels that when you pack together are 1.4 kilos lighter than the forged aluminum one. Or the rear subframe that weighs altogether 0.9 kilos, so it's less than 1 kilo. When we check all the extreme part of the motorcycle, also the front fork has been lighted, and there are lighter rear shock, and also the brake pads have been improved. Talking again about technology, the most important one is about a completely developed electronic. And with this picture, which actually shows the real tire of a real Superleggera that one of our testers tested in Almeria, and you will see the video in a couple of minutes, has been evolved to a next level. And especially, the adding is about the slide control. So, the rider will be able to tune spin and slide, the two brothers, spin and slide as we call them, in a different way. So you can set the spin level and the slide level to different sides. So you can control the spin or not the slide, and on the same time control the slide or not the spin. And this is typical how the most evolved system do in MotoGP, or they did in MotoGP before the changing of the rule. So in some cases, this traction control, it's even more developed of the current system used in MotoGP, because it was used on the factory software that was possible to be used in MotoGP up to last year. The bike is equipped with power launch for the first time for a Ducati Superbike, and of course it's equipped with cornering ABS, which seems safety not the most relevant, but we care so much. And so when you run on the racetrack, this cornering ABS will be very relevant. And the cornering ABS Superleggera set a new standard for our sports bike, because has been possible to tune because of a different algorithm, even with very high leaning angle. In the normal production bike, corner and ABS work up to a certain angle, what was difficult to make it work when the bike was actually fully leaned. While now, we are able to do, and for the first time, the release is in the Superleggera. So in a nutshell, it's the most powerful twin cylinder ever. It's Euro 4 compliant. It's the first ever production motorcycle with full carbon fiber structure, and it's a pinnacle of available electronic technology. I think it's time to see the bike. A special rider, a special guest for this bike. Say a big hug to Casey Stoner, man. So Casey, as a guest of honor, actually, that, you know, it's our newest baby, and it's a bike on which we put really all our feeling, our stomach, our heart, our passion, and actually, you are our ambassador, you win our latest championship, so what best than you to take the bike on stage. But I want to talk a bit more about this year, because actually, we don't want to talk only about 2007. Actually, you were on the bike on MotoGP this year, so it was a kind of a very nice comeback, and you rode the bike 4 times in 4 tests, and actually were able to take 2 victories. So I want to think that you've been able to contribute positively on that, but what's your sensation about the development of this year?
It's been fantastic. My renewal with Ducati for this year has just been a fairy tale, to be honest, from the beginning. From the first test, I saw massive, massive changes and differences from the last time I rode the bike, of course. But not only that, just the group of people, everybody that we're working with, everybody has just put in so much effort. And that's why we've got the results this year. You know, we've maybe struggled a little bit in recent years. But this year, from the first test, everybody was listening, everybody was working, including both Andreas. You know, everybody was putting in all this effort. So the advancements we made throughout the year, I think, has shown. And both Andreas, but in particular Andrea Dovizioso, has done a fantastic job this year, not only being consistent, but consistently at the front and showing what this bike's capable of in MotoGP, and I think showing what we can do in the future.
So that's very promising, but let's talk about the Superleggera. You have seen the presentation, you've seen that we take back the carbon fiber structure that was so much familiar with you, you know? So what's your kind of feeling about the bike?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to test it yet, so I'm looking forward to that. But I had a brief talk with somebody about it and the differences, and what I've been looking at it tonight and studying it, and it's incredible. You know, the weight saving, as you know, is a huge thing, especially for these big, powerful bikes that have inertia. Sometimes they're heavier to change direction in this big class. But with things like the carbon fiber wheels, which I've had the privilege of riding in the past when I was on 250, you notice huge differences there, huge differences that we can't get this on a race bike, and you can get them on a bike like this. So I think those things alone are going to make huge, huge differences, and something I'm really looking forward to trying.
So say a big hug to Casey. And thank you so much. Thank you. So, this 1299 Superleggera, as it's very clear, will be a limited edition, will be 500 bike only, and the process of sale has begun. So we already are near completion of the order collection, but it's a typical example of how the Ducati brand want to offer to our best customer a kind of very special present in order to collect the most interesting and possibly the bike that will make the history of motorcycling. Some more detail. The bike is full carbon fiber bodywork, of course, and let's talk about weight. The bike has two different versions. One is for Europe, which is complete Euro 4 compliant, and there's the exhaust, which is shown here, and there is a bike for the US market, which has the silencer under the pannier, because it's not to cope with the Euro 4 homologation. So this is the reason why there is a little weight difference between the US and the Europe version. But with the racing kit, both of them are aligned, because the racing kit is the same, and is the same shape of the racing exhaust, the chassis using on his superbike, and it got down to 162 kilos. Let's talk a while about the racing kit. With the racing kit, horsepower moved to 220, and the weight goes down to 162, getting the incredible power to weight ratio to 1.36, which is very difficult or impossible to find in any other motorcycle you actually can buy. On my back, there is all the list of the peculiarity of this motorcycle, but I want to close with only two more things. One is that the buyer can also buy a dedicated Superleggera technical apparel, and this apparel can be actually fitted and taking the measure and taking the size, and so to fit the leather exactly on the size of the customer, at the size of the rider, and also the color can be personalized. And on top of that, we thought to make a very special present to everyone that will buy into this fantastic project, which is to have as a gift a full day of World Superbike experience to be held next year in spring in a kind of a track like Monza, possibly, in which just with this bike and the Superleggera will be together, and the customer will have the possibility to ride the Superleggera alongside the World Superbike factory machine, which is something that will be an experience, we think, for the whole life. That's why we think this one is about let's have fun. Thank you very much for staying with us. This is all the 2017 new model range for Ducati. Thank you, all the people that are staying with us, the more than 400,000 people that stay with us this hour and 15 minutes. Have been a very incredible exercise. I want to thank all the Ducati people that have been working and made this possible. And thank you, and see you at next Ducati World Premiere. Thank you so much.